What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Big Thing. As you saw in the description or in the thumbnail, this is going to be an Ahsoka trailer breakdown episode. It's going to be the majority of the episode for sure. We'll talk a little bit about the Emmys when it comes to Star Wars, where Andor, Mandalorian, and Obi-Wan were all nominated for certain awards. And we're going to switch over a little bit and talk about, because we got Mike here today, we'll talk about the Superman casting news of Nathan Fillion. And a few other people, a few other characters. We'll talk about that in a little more. But I think for the most part, it's going to be a full-on Ahsoka breakdown with myself, Mike, and Steph. So make sure that you are locked and loaded. And make sure you checked out the trailer, because Mike hasn't even seen the trailer yet. We're going to watch that on the air first, and then we're going to get into the actual trailer breakdown itself. Okay, so if you haven't already, please head on over to the website, thekristianharloff.com. Join today. We have a lot of great things over there, whether it's the exclusive comic book from Wicked Art, the Shoes and Beef episode, the one-on-one sessions that we do, exclusive content. It helps out the show tremendously, so we hope that you'll join us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Let's get into it, man. Ahsoka. Boom. What up, everybody? Welcome back. It is The Big Thing, Sith Council edition. Myself, all of us with a screen in the background. Steph Sabra and Mike Kalinowski. Hello, everybody. What's going on? I'm gonna fix the Wyatt. So, Steph, tell us a story while I do this.
Okay. Basically, one thing that happened.
Here we go.
We were just talking about watching The Bear, and I'm taking improv, and I was doing a scene with a swordsman. And he was like teaching me how to make a sword, and I was like, just out of gut reaction, thank you, chef. And everyone started laughing because everyone and their mom was watching The Bear, and I was like, I'm so glad it works.
It's the best show on television.
It's so good. It
is the best show on television. And season 2, episode 6, is one of the best shows on television, episodes of television, maybe ever.
I can't wait to get to it.
So you're gonna love
Yeah.
it. You're gonna lose your mind. Roxy said that 7 was better. I don't agree. 7 is great, but 6 is like a movie, and
Wow.
it's insane. You don't watch it, huh?
I don't.
I don't think that would be his jam.
Popped in. Well, let me
I don't
tell you
know.
why.
It's
I
pretty
work
good.
in restaurants,
Yeah.
and I just don't get the whole yes chef, yes chef. I mean, you're making
respect.
you're making deli sandwiches at a I know he upgraded to a new restaurant. I get that, but even back when I loved it. I think it was last season where the girl was like, "I love you, you're brilliant, but f you, I'm out." I was like, there you go.
It's kind of the point,
But I
though,
don't get it.
Well, he was trained like a really
culinary skills,
like
the
an
culinary
amazing restaurant, like
and it was
across
yes
the country.
chef, yes
Like
chef.
a
yeah.
sensei.
And then it's kind of the point of the fact that he did work in this place, and
You're
they
cutting
felt like
beef.
you did. But that's what the most of the people felt the way that you did. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? We're cutting beef in a shot, right? And he was
slicing
trying to
deli meats.
He's trying to teach him to the next level. And that's
Respect.
why season 2 is just like the progression of that.
But I get it. I totally get it.
yeah.
I just don't understand in that culture that like the disrespect and the yelling and the we got
It's intense.
10 orders coming in. We don't have anything. Fucking coleslaw. Give me F chef. And it's like it's fucking coleslaw and meat. It's a deli sandwich. People are gonna eat. And they're gonna get their sandwich. It'll be fine. You don't need to be assholes to everybody.
From a guy who we just talked about that we didn't even air all of it. The Marvel Cinematic exhibition match that we had. You might as well have been in the most intense restaurant with Gordon Ramsay screaming in your ear in the way that you reacted to that.
You want to know why? That
Why?
one? Because we went into that. There was supposed to be no stakes. It was supposed to be, hey, we're outside of the world of competition. You guys can just go and have fun. And it wasn't that. I was bamboozled.
But are you answering your own question right now?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's also a show.
I just don't understand
I'm
the
the
culture of it.
person ever. Like, no one can ever make me say yes, chef, and I will be like, I'll go home and cry. Like, I'm not doing that, but it's a show.
It's
I
think
get it. But it's a show, but it's based. That is how it is.
it is how it is.
That's how it is.
Yeah,
That's why
I
it's
don't
like that.
work.
Like they're-
I don't work in the kitchen,
wanna
but I
see it.
also was like, I was an athlete, so I think there's something to be said about paying your dues in certain places.
Totally.
Like,
Everywhere.
I always thought the older people on the team should get more respect. Always.
That's
Everywhere.
respecting your
That's
elders.
everywhere.
That's
Yeah.
life.
That's just
Right.
paying you dues.
But that's
Yeah.
why they're paying their dues in the kitchen.
yeah, but
To be treated like shit.
But I think,
Hey,
but
it's
it's
not
also,
my
but it's
kitchen.
also like it's kind of like a dysfunctional family.
Right.
Into it. But what I'm
I
tell-
get it.
but
I
you-
get it. And
but
the
even-
acting, I love Evan Moss. I don't know his first.
the guy from Andor, right?
Yeah, I fucking love him. I've loved him since I saw him. I saw him first in Punisher.
The times
Okay.
you
I love that guy.
choose to
Interrupt.
Here we go.
to not use the full F bomb, and when
Then
you
just do
choose,
it.
Oh, what happened to my seat?
you went through like an entire.
Koi, ladies and gentlemen, Koi's here.
What happened here?
What'd you do?
What happened?
One of the Oompa Loompas. Did you see the Wonka?
Yeah.
Looks good.
It does look good.
Looks good.
I
was surprised.
I thought, okay, it's so hard to beat Gene Wilder, though. Like to not even think about Gene Wilder
Sure,
in that.
but that's why it's a prequel to the Gene Wilder one,
Yeah.
as opposed to doing a separate Johnny Depp one.
Totally,
which
I
was
love it. I
horrible.
just hope he gets a little bit wonkier.
I think
that
he will.
makes sense. So
Yeah,
I
he will.
think that it was a good trailer in the sense that like we're seeing the beginning of him, but I like that like kind of weird like what is really going on in your brain, Willie?
Yeah, I liked it.
But
I-
it does look good, and I love the Oompa Loompa look.
Oh,
People were
this-
screaming, but I'm like, it's the one scene.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious, the Hugh Grant thing. But and then we'll talk about Blue Beetle a little later on too.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so we're gonna get into Ahsoka now. We're gonna watch the trailer. But I did want to say this before we moved on, and I want to actually ask you guys this because I did it on my live stream, and we do have a sponsor today. But I wanted to talk to you guys about it because do either one of you guys use Rocket Money?
Not yet.
Sorry.
Do you
What?
know? No, for real. Do you,
No, no.
do-
I've never
have you
heard
used
of
it?
that. No. Just-
So it was formerly of Truebill, right? So I had heard about it for a while ago, and then it switched over to Rocket Money. Essentially, what it is that you have all these subscriptions that you have, whether it's Netflix, all these different ones, and ones that you signed up to years ago that you get charged for every month. And it breaks down and it lets you know, well, you've subscribed to this, you're spending X amount of money on this per month, and if you push a button, we can cancel those ones out that you don't want. And then it also will, like, it lets me know how much money I spent, like, on my bank accounts. It's like, you normally spend X amount a month. You spent this month. There's this transaction that went through. Let us know if this is something, you should be aware of this, that if this is unauthorized. And it does everything.
So
And
they're
it's-
like your money manager.
Yes, and it does everything. It is fantastic.
That's actually really cool.
So when they told me, like, because they always will say, "Hey, so and so is interested in sponsoring the show," they didn't have to have the pitch with it. I was like, I use Rocket all of the time, and if you guys have not tried it, it's Rocket Money. It is. I'm telling you, like Mike and Steph, like this is no BS. Like you'll both thank me for it.
Yeah.
You'll both thank me for it. Everybody out there will thank me for
Okay.
it. I won't shut up about it because I love it so much and I want them to stay. So I am telling you guys, sign up today at rocketmoney.com/thing. rocketmoney.com/thing. It's so good, and I cannot wait. And I want them to come back, and I want you guys to. I mean, people they're asking the other day, how do you support the show? And people have been getting the sponsors and letting me know. This one, you're not only going to get it, you're going to thank me for getting it. rocketmoney.com/thing. Make sure you get it.
Yeah.
It's. I promise you. Sign
Being
up for it. Yeah.
financially savvy and having someone else do it for you is a pretty boss move.
I'm telling you, I have it. It's like it's right here. It gives you all the like tells you everything that you need to do, and it gives a full like breakdown of savings, checking, card balances, subscriptions.
awesome.
It's like it's
You gotta link your bank to it.
you can. You don't have to, but
Okay.
it just basically lets you know like what you're working on, what you have, and it'll help you tremendously.
That's cool.
All right, let's get into the trailer because we're gonna watch it. Mike has not seen the trailer
Not
yet.
seen it yet. I wanted to wait for the show.
I almost didn't watch it, but then I was like,
No,
I
it's
can't.
good. Yeah, it was supposed for the breakdown as well too. But here you go. Here's the trailer for Ahsoka, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Okay.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
Peace.
Period.
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war. That's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one. You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him, just like I walked away from Sabine.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
As a Jedi, sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can. But I'm counting on you to see this through.
Nice haircut. Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings.
Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain. You have no power.
It's like a horror scene.
Yeah.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Oh, yeah. Pretty epic. August 23rd, everybody. So, all right, Mike, let's first things first. First, what's your initial thoughts?
I'm gonna be lost.
You gonna be lost?
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on?
Nope.
Okay.
Ask
questions.
I didn't watch. I tried to stay away from Twitter yesterday as far as spoilers, but everyone was saying, "Oh, this is Rebel season 5,
Easily or
six,
Is it
or 5.5 point whatever." I was like, I'm lost.
Okay.
And I am your general audience going into this, and I love that shows. I love that when Marvel and DC does it, that makes it for the hardcore fans.
Yeah.
But it's also a money thing where you've got to have general audiences too. So I'm your general audience.
So
for
when
this,
you're
so I'm lost.
when you're saying you're lost, it's because you look.
When
right,
I watch
'cause-
Mando or I watch
I won't
even
ask
Boba
anything.
Fett, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm on board. I don't know. I don't need to know, or I'm brought into the story. This is like, this story is
It's Rebels.
mid. It's mid, not mid in like it's middle. It's mid story. It's like we're coming into a story.
It's a continuation.
Right.
So you're lost. But because when you look at the trailer, you're essentially saying, who is that person? I don't know enough about the person. That's making me feel like I need to know more about this, because there's a lot of people like the two of us who are going, oh yeah, there's that.
Right.
There's that. So I understand that. I think that what they're gonna bank on is, and I think I said this on the stream yesterday, was there's gonna be people who, like you and I, who are like, because the first thing I said to Steph was, I went back and watched the very ending scene of
the last scene of Rebels.
because what happens is it's like, and I think it's Sabine actually who's doing the voiceover, and she talks about how the war never came that they were expecting afterwards. Endor happened. Hera fought in Endor. Like they needed to find Ezra, and she doesn't. And when the last scene is Ahsoka, and she's got short hair, so that all of this happened.
Sabine with short hair.
Sabine has short hair. So all the stuff that we saw before that, and that's why even when Ahsoka fights that woman that we see in the trailer, when she fights her in Mandalorian season 2, that's before the thing in Rebels.
I
also.
thought that was her. Okay,
yeah, because people are like, no, Rebels happened before. Some people screaming, Rebels happened before Endor. I'm talking about the last frickin' scene. For those people, they were coming screaming, you didn't watch Rebels clearly because it happened before Jedi. The last scene is where Sabine clearly says, after the Battle of Endor, and there's a scene where she's waiting for Ahsoka, and Ahsoka comes in, and then they leave to find Ezra. So all the stuff that we see in this trailer is the stuff beforehand. When Ahsoka fights that chick to find out where Thrawn is, it's beforehand, and it leads to that moment. The question I have for you is, where's Jason Sundala in this trailer?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they're keeping some stuff, right? And a lot of this, there's some introduction of new characters and some glimpses of characters that you're like, who could that be? Like, was that from Malachor? Which I feel for you, Mike, but I really feel like you should watch the essential episodes of Rebels. Not because
that's what they're banking on.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great show. I'm rewatching it right now. But yeah, I don't know where he is right now. I wonder if they're gonna give a Hera telling something about him.
They gotta mention him. They gotta mention
have
him.
to.
They have to. And I'm sure Kanan will be mentioned too, because the scene.
Yeah.
So the shot in, we'll go over it. I pulled all the shots from the trailer, but there's the one where Sabine touches the mural of all of them, and that's in that actual scene as well. The same exact thing. She touches the thing and then she goes. So they're recreating that scene where she leaves, and it's Filoni who's who's doing it, and you're not wrong. I think you're 100% right. I think that it is a continuation. They're going, well, you watch it, but we're going to try to make it to where when you tune into it, that you're invested in it and you want to figure out who it is. So there's going to be people who go, I'm just going into it. It's a Star Wars show. I'm going to check it out and see if I can catch and follow along. That's probably where you are. Then there's people who are going, well, I've wanted to watch Rebels. Maybe now I'll definitely watch it. And then there's people who are going to go, I don't want to have to follow an animated show, and I'm not watching this.
I 100% agree that all of those are valid.
Yeah.
I love the fact that that Star Wars is going, you know what, this is going to be a deep dive for the people that have been along with us for however many years in this. Everyone else, if they join along, great. We want everyone to love it. But if they don't, this was made, they always say, is like, you can't make stuff for the fans. You got to make this for the fans.
Yeah.
And I love that they did that. Good. I don't need to be won over by it. There's enough in Star Wars that's out there right now that I love.
But there is a lot of stuff, though, in this trailer, though, that's classic Star Wars.
But seeing it, too, do you get the feeling that Ezra is not going to show up? He'll be...
I don't think Ezra's going to show up until the end.
Like the last episode, he pops in.
And then for season 2.
Season 2.
Okay, yeah. But watching that, I'm like, he did the hologram scene. He's probably going to come in the end.
It seems that they're going to find him towards the end. Thrawn will show up before he does. I think
I think that's part of the reason why there was such a delay, not even a delay, but he was not announced. He was announced way later than everyone else.
I still think that's why Mina Masood maybe didn't get it.
Right. So we just don't know in terms of that, but I think he's going to show up season 2. But you don't watch that and think that was it looks so epic.
There's a lot of epic Star Wars in there.
And be interested enough to do the back what?
I'll tell you why not. Because how many times have I seen Star Wars trailers and it's like, oh my God, that's badass.
Right.
And I see the product at the end and I'm
look
at Obi-Wan.
You don't want to get Michael Bay. Michael Bay puts together great trailers.
Yeah.
I've been burned several times. I was just thinking about that this morning. No one is talking about Mando 3. We don't talk about it. Mando 1 and 2, we talked about it ad nauseum for years after it came out. Like, oh, you remember that episode? No one talks about Mando 3 because it just wasn't that good. It didn't live up to it. And Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Andor, I thought it's like, oh, Andor. That was the one in between those three that was just like, that was fantastic.
That stuck
and
around.
We couldn't wait for it.
Well, yeah, and you're...
So I'm kind of a little gun shy now. I'm like, hey, I've seen great trailers for all these Star Wars shows.
So you needed to deliver. But what I will say
And if it doesn't, that's okay.
Yeah, but what I will say as we look at the trailer itself and go over the shots is that, to me, and one of the main issues that we've said about Mandalorian Season 3, didn't really ever have a clear cut of what the story was for a while. We didn't get, it was, okay, by the time we get to episode, the last 3 episodes, that's when we were getting, okay, this is what the show's about.
Yeah.
This trailer seems to know what the story is from the second it starts.
Sure.
And but let's do this breakdown.
All right, let's do it.
The first shot.
No, I think that's the biggest distinction I have between those shows.
Yeah, well, the first shot is obviously, and this is what Filoni does all the time and does it very well. The majority of the trailer is like the beginning of the show,
right?
And so you get the Sith when they show up, and this looks about as prequel as it gets, right? Almost you could separate like Maul and Sidious and put them in there, but I do think, Mike, that I don't know the character's name yet on the right. Ray Stevenson's Shin. I think she's going to serve as the Mara Jade character, and what I hope does not happen, even though Mara Jade, it's the story that happens. Let's not get another redemption story. Please.
It's Star Wars, and that's bread and butter, buddy.
But I know, but it's so predictable now. It's like the woman evil is going to turn good. It won't be the guy. It's going to be...
Ray Stevenson ain't turning good.
No. It's going to be her, and it's like, let them both be bad. Let them stay bad. We've got Sabine.
It's Disney,
We've
man.
got Ahsoka.
But
it wasn't. But it's been way before Disney.
I know. Come on.
It's always a Lucasfilm thing. It's like, we get it. There's redemption and stuff, too, but... Sabine has her own story right now to where she's got to figure out some stuff and some demons. Ahsoka certainly has to figure out her demons. Hera, we've got some kick-ass ladies right now.
Yeah.
Let them all be bad on the other side. We don't need redemption. And I think that's where we're going with that particular character. I hope we were wrong. We were right about Reva.
That's why, what's her name? Oh, God, from Andor.
Shoot.
Yeah.
The one. Yeah, she's great.
She's never going to
turn.
Not turning ever. And we love her.
No,
and I love her.
But that's the difference with Tony Gilroy.
Yeah.
Tony Gilroy's, normally what we do is, I don't care what you normally do.
Yeah.
Ain't doing it on my show. I think that because, Filoni does follow the Lucas rule book.
Sure.
And so there's, mostly, a lot of times we got to have someone who's redeemed. Redemption. And it's like, yeah, but we don't need her to be redeemed because it's predictable now.
Yeah.
If she turns good, It's predictable.
But we don't even know what their true objective
True.
is, right?
Very true.
You know, those two specifically.
Dedra.
Dedra.
That's it,
there
Dedra.
you go. I almost
Thank
said
you.
Mira. Is it Dedra Mira? I don't know.
I think
but
so, Dedra Mira.
We don't know what their objectives are, right? Like, there's a lot of talk about, are they trying to eliminate the Jedi and the Sith?
They're going after everybody.
Everybody,
because
right?
They at one point it looks like the Empire. Let's start with this breakdown. This is clearly the New Republic or whatever it is. You see this guy
dressed like Crix Madine,
whatever the guy's wearing, and then they just right away
they
just
look
wrecking
bad.
shop. Yeah, these two are bad. They're not Sith, whatever they might be. They're dark Jedi, whatever they might be. He says they're no Jedi. So
yeah, but I think he was a former Jedi.
Oh yes, because he knows Anakin, and then they just start wrecking shop. They take out the Mon Calamari. They're and then this is about as Episode 4, New Hope, as you're gonna get for people who are listening on audio. This is shots of them going through, and whether or not you want to believe it, I do believe it. Freddie Prinze Jr. a couple of months ago said that Filoni directed that scene in Rogue One with Vader. Right? Tony Gilroy came out and said that wasn't true. I don't know Freddie Prinze Jr. to be a liar, so I'm gonna believe Freddie, and I'm also gonna believe it because this scene looks very similar into how it was shot.
Fully.
Right? And I think this is definitely Episode 1, and I think this might be the opening scene, and I think this is something Filoni directed, and I think this is what Filoni's great at, and I think that this is the scene. I think this is, like, right away, he's just coming in and wrecking shop.
Has it been established why their lightsabers are orange?
No, I think we're going to learn all that. It is like an orange/red, right? It's like a
When I
reddish
first
orange,
saw like the trailer, the first one they dropped, I was like, oh, if they're using, because I know they use like LED sabers on the set, and I wonder if that was a problem where it was causing that orange. It's supposed to be red,
or it was on purpose.
But then someone was like, no, it's supposed to be orange. I'm like, okay, cool.
Filoni's not going to make a mistake like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Filoni's the detail Filoni's going to have on each saber is going to be pretty deliberate.
Yeah, it's probably to signify something like what we're talking about, that they're not part of either.
Yeah, and it takes place, and
Sounds
look,
good.
and like they're working with what's your favorite? The sisters, right?
Yeah, the sisters. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think either Shin or I forget.
It's
her
the one
name.
from Mandalorian season two. She
Mandalorian
clearly
season two.
has some kind of roots.
Some sort of witch
The-
powers.
Yeah.
Inasanto, her last name is it Dana Inasanto?
Is that the one from that Ahsoka fought in season 2?
Sword, yeah.
The
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Yes.
I mean, she had a very
think it's
samurai
Dana.
vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she definitely, which I love the sisters.
I know.
So
The Night
I
Sisters,
thought
yeah.
that was like really great. And that's what my favorite part about the trailer and what I'm hoping of the show. This is what you don't get from live action
'Cause he's
if
a
you
dummy.
don't watch.
Oh.
Yeah,
Jesus, there it is.
the animated shows dive into the mythology and this more sorcery, back lore in a way that live action doesn't touch. They tried to do it with the Sith Finder, but it didn't really work.
Right.
But
Well, because you could tell the difference between someone who's just
Right.
like, oh, that's a cool thing, put that in there,
Right,
as opposed
right.
to, well, the reason that was there because of this.
Yes.
And that's what Filoni's going to do in this
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so keeping on here, and it is so sad to see my man Ray
I
over here, too, because
know.
he looks so epic in this show.
Right.
And he's just choking people out, throwing them around. There's an agenda here, and these New Republic soldiers have no chance. They're just getting laid out, and it's tossing.
Mollywopped.
Yeah, just tossing.
Mollywop?
Tossing people around. And then this is the line, and this is reminiscent to what Ahsoka said. I can't remember which one, but she also said the same thing. At one point, she said, I am no Jedi.
Right.
And now it's turned on the evil side of things. And then, I mean, clearly this is more there. Even though Steph might be right that they're not necessarily Sith. Well, they definitely lean more on the Sith side than Jedi.
They're
clearly.
definitely bad.
They're definitely
They're
bad.
giving me Thanos
What gave that
vibes.
away?
Yeah, and but they're also but the only thing that I say that they could be leaning towards the Sith is because there's only 2 of them.
Yeah. I think they definitely follow some rules of the Sith, but I think that they're against the entire
Religion of it all.
Yeah, I think that they just want to end it all.
Maybe. Well, look, and the other side you got to remember is that they're not. I think we're also playing in a zone where they're. I mean, because clearly this is New Republic, but I think they're playing in a zone of like the outer regions and those types of things that it's because how are they not tracked, right? Why didn't they fight at Endor? Why weren't they like where were they? There was explanations to where Thrawn and all that, and they're on the lookout for them. That's why I like the time period of trying to like catch up on the in between. Maybe to them, it's the war with the Republic. Kind of going to your point, the war of the Republic is insignificant. They don't give a crap about it. Like maybe they were around when the Emperor was around. They kind of went against his rule, and they were trying to do something else and working with this Night Sister. The Night Sister had beef with the Emperor. The Night Sisters fought the Emperor.
Yeah.
So they had beef with him. So maybe, you know, if this guy's working with them, maybe he didn't follow Palpatine's stuff.
Right.
It'd be very interesting. That's why I think there's going to be so much more, and that's why rumor is that these episodes are 45 minutes to an hour. These cannot be. And I promise you guys, as much as you don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear myself say it. I don't want every episode of this show to be like, why was this only 30 minutes? Why was this a 31-minute show?
But we've had 6 shows so far, and they've all done that
Not Andor. Andor's been 45 to an hour.
consistently.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there was one
All right.
that was shorter, but
I have a
mostly
feeling this is going to
It might have
ham
been
on the
their
other side,
second
though. I think it's
you
going to
think
ham
closer
on
to the 30, 32.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I hope you're wrong.
Well, I won't be.
You might not, well, you might.
Don't be a hater.
No, but he's not. But he's not. He's this one.
I'm
he's
being
talking
honest.
On, this one
You're
he's
being
talking
rational.
on. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
being rational
Yeah.
on this one because
I'm
he's
just
not
going
wrong.
off of what's been given to us.
You're not wrong. I just think that if you're going to go into everything we're talking about here,
I get you, man.
in depth, like it's still why you have this time to really expand. I mean,
Right.
shoot, I think even most of the Bear, by the way, are shorter episodes, but they're also not dealing with big action. But I think, and I might be wrong, but I felt like episode 6 of the Bear is almost like an hour, and it was worth every second of it because they explored time. I think 45 minutes could be a sweet spot for this show if they could do it.
Yeah, they're setting up so much between Balin and Shin, and then
Yeah.
Ahsoka and Sabine. You have 2 kind of master apprentices going on, and then you have the New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
You have the war that's going on with, or Hera's trying to stop this war with the Senate, with the like
New Republic?
rebel leaders,
Right. Well, at this point, the New Republic.
New
leaders,
Republic
yeah.
leaders, and
That was-
Mon Mothma's
Yeah,
there.
she was in there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll get to that. So
Yeah,
let's-
and then all the lore. There's so much that the episode should be longer.
Yeah, absolutely should be longer. And then I loved this shot after he takes that dude out, and she's just walking down the hall wrecking people, and like they have no fear whatsoever. There's no threat, and they just are just going to clean house. Now, what the mission is or why they're there, we don't know.
Are you guys speculating that these 2 are not Sith? They are an offshoot that just maybe doesn't believe in what the Sith want to do, and they're taking their own thing?
I think
because
that's
I
both.
love that.
Yeah,
if it is,
I'll
just say that.
The reason why I think is because of the shot that we'll get to in a moment, where they're clearly working with someone who was associated with the Night Sisters, and the Night Sisters and the Sith had beef, and
Beef?
They had beef, not shoes, beef, and I think that if they made that, because he's very, very clear that he is not a Jedi,
Right.
very clear about
Yeah.
that, but doesn't say Sith. So I would love the idea of, no, this is a different philosophy altogether. They follow certain rules of both, but they're trying to do something else because they're trying to find Thrawn. And there's that line of, well, what happens if we find Thrawn? It's like, and he's like immense power, the most power, like why? Right? Like,
Right,
why?
right.
And so that to me was very curious. So this is what I loved about this trailer. And this is what I love about Filoni doing his own thing and writing the whole series, is that there's a clear, full story, not just episodes that are like, oh, and this one's going to have Carrot Top and Weird Al in it. Why? Because they like the show. So they're going to be in it. But it doesn't have anything to do with the story. Yeah, but my kids like them. Okay. You'll probably get like a cameo or 2 in here, but like I think you're not going to get that in this show.
Yeah.
All right, so Ahsoka now, we know that in the other trailer, she comes down, I think she's in some kind of temple, wherever she might be, and then Steph, that's Night Sister, right? Is that Night Sister, or is that a Jedi? I can't tell.
We've seen her
That
before.
looks Night
I
Sister.
think she's a Night Sister.
Yeah.
I forget exactly, but we've seen that
That's definitely
person
Night Sister.
before.
Are they
That's
related to
definitely
the 7th sister?
No.
No.
Seven Sisters is Inquisitor.
That's all different?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Night
different.
Sisters are the ones who
They're a gang.
They took.
I think my love of Star Wars, I think it stopped at a certain thing and just it kept going with everything else.
Lost.
I like to think I'm Star Wars savvy. I really do.
Dude, the Night Sister storyline is
It's because
awesome.
you don't watch the animated.
I just don't watch the animated. Is
Yeah.
that why?
It's a
because-
huge gap.
Isn't that why?
Yeah, the Night
That's
Sisters
it.
show up a lot in both of those, and the Night Sisters are the ones who are responsible for Darth Maul.
Totally.
They're the ones.
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're the ones who rescued him or started training him, and then
Where did they rescue him from? The bottom of that
rescued him or stole
giant
him? I think no.
pit that he fell down and died in?
As a baby. And then this is how he first things are born. Things in life
We
are born.
raised him and his brother.
I like just when Maul showed up in his hood.
Did you know
and
he
he's
had a
just like,
brother?
we will
Yeah,
take
he had
on
a-
this.
yeah.
It's called backstory.
Yeah, he had a brother too.
Not everyone needs a backstory. Sometimes they
What?
just need to be mysterious
But
characters.
when you say dumb
Just saying.
things,
I'm just
they
saying.
come out dumb because you haven't seen it. Now there are times that you make valid arguments when you've seen things, but when you haven't seen things, it comes off as dumb. You understand that, right?
Does it?
Yeah.
You
I
can-
think you'd
does it-
really like the Maul stuff. It enhances his character to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Or does it take it away from it?
Right.
Maybe for you.
But you haven't seen it, so there's again.
I saw him
Would-
sitting
could
on
you-
his
could
fake,
you- could you
his
see-
goat legs in Solo.
Okay, but could you see where this could come off as dumb?
No,
Are you being honest?
I'm being honest.
Come on.
But what if you see it and you liked it? You're normally the type of person that if you see it, you know what, guys, I saw it, and at first, I was so against it. I was against it. Hold on, let me finish. I think that when I heard you say this stuff, I thought there was no way. I've seen all this. I thought Maul should have died. And I was wrong. I told Shannon. I told her. I said I was wrong. They were right.
I'm going to say this. One of the best James Bond films of all time, Casino Royale. Starts with a black and white flashback to him getting his 00 license. I don't need to see a movie or a book about him in the Navy with Commander Bond getting he was. I find out where he is. You see, you
nice.
see go with on this thing. And that's why you're going to get to our sponsor, Cannabis, because we have a sponsor that helps keep me calm and medicated throughout these shows. So make sure if you want to subscribe and be a subscriber of the show and support the show, buy this cannabis link. They're going to keep Mike calm. And for that, you get a pretzel.
All right, good for you.
Oh.
All right, let's get back to this. All right, so the Night Sister,
Yeah.
she comes in. So clearly there's some research of what's happening and probably a little more detective work. And then we see this shot of Thrawn that we've seen already. So you're like, okay, we're going to see his face finally?
Can I ask something right now?
Oh, here you go. Sure, go ahead.
About Thrawn. He
Yeah.
was the guy, he had the yellow worm on him with all the time, right?
Yeah. The
That's-
yellow worm?
That's what the toy came with, right?
remember.
Is it Thrawn?
I don't
so you don't know something
I
about
don't-
Star
It's not
Wars.
canon.
Listen,
He had a worm that was like his pet. It's a yellow worm.
I don't remember.
Well, he did.
Okay.
He's making up stuff. All right, so here's the next one. Thanks for bringing that up. That was a good interruption. So this is where the Night Sister portion of it kind of comes about because this is where she asks the question. She says, "Well, why do we need to find Thrawn? What is it about Thrawn? It's absolute power." And here she is. So clearly, that's just an evil smirk all in itself, right? And she's conjuring up the magic, and this is there. She's how much she's a student of the Night Sister, whether she maybe stumbled upon it. She's got roots. Again, stuff that I'm sure we're going to find out. But this is where Rey is like, yeah, look, or Balin, I should say, is like, if we find this dude, we're going to basically accomplish what we've been trying to do here. And I love this whole map stuff. Now, I will say this. There was a couple of times that looked a little volumey. Go ahead, Billy.
I'm raising my hand. I have a question.
Yeah, thanks,
Did
Joe.
you guys notice in that scene showed it? The entire trailer felt very grayish, dullish.
Yeah.
All the scenes though, not just this one. It seemed very
Not colorful?
just whatever they color corrected. The palette that they're using is a very muted
Like a gray
palette
scale.
compared to all the other Star Wars shows, and I'm sure it was a choice.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious what that choice was.
Not sure.
Right.
So I don't know. Does it Rebels? Was that a muted color palette in Rebels?
I don't know, but I mean,
All
you
right.
look at what they're doing here with the actual. I mean, there's like I said, there's sometimes
see that,
there's
yes.
some volume-esque, but I still think it. I mean, now this is the scene I was telling you about, Steph. Like this is where, in the beginning, it looks like the New Republic. That ain't a New Republic. That,
Right.
That looks
the gray.
Empire.
Yeah, that's Empire.
Or-
with the gray, right?
Right. Like who?
Yeah.
Like that
that
seems
looks like-
that seems like somebody that could have been Katie O'Brien.
Right,
That
right.
looks like
in the Empire.
Admiral Akbar's chair in his ship during
I mean, maybe
Return of the
so,
Jedi. It doesn't
but-
look like it's the swivel chair. And
Yeah,
he's got
it's
the
got
console
something
in front
like
of him.
that. But I mean, like, you look at what she's wearing, and that is not a rebel outfit. That is clearly Empire. So they're going out. I think, kind of going off of Steph's point, they don't have a side. they want to partner up with Thrawn, who clearly has a side, or maybe they don't want to partner with him. Maybe they want to kill Thrawn. Maybe
Right.
There's something that Thrawn has, whatever it is. Or
She uses a lightsaber
Yeah.
so well.
She
In
does.
her one scene, I was like, oh my God.
do you think she's going to serve as the Mara Jade element of it all, Mike?
I don't know. What is the hate against Mara Jade though from Lucasfilm and all them?
Lucas didn't like Mara Jade.
Lucas doesn't like her.
Lucas didn't like Mara
It seems
Jade.
like that's the one character that no one's coming near, no one's even going to bring up
Yeah,
or anything.
I think
I
that's
loved
why.
her. She was in that. She was in that period we talk about in the
Yeah.
'90s where there was no Star Wars and
Yeah.
all we got were the comics and the books, and we fell in love with this character.
Filoni said that he's going to pretty much do the heir to the Empire. I mean, they keep
Sans
mentioning
Mara,
everything. I think that he's just going to have some characters kind of serve different roles. Like I think that Ahsoka is going to serve the Luke role, and I think
Yeah, because Luke and Mara, that's their.
and I think
yeah.
that you're going to have the Mara Jade not be a romantic interest, but she's going to serve the
bad guy to the good guy thing.
Yeah, and that's why, 'cause Mara Jade
she had a
turns-
saber eventually.
and
Yeah,
Mara Jade turns good. So
she does.
I'm just hoping.
Hey,
It's just the reason why now is because when Mara Jade turned good, it was still kind of fresh. I mean, yeah, we had Vader turn at that point,
That
but it was
was-
still kind
yeah.
of it was still kind of fresh. Kylo Ren turned good, Reva turned good. I mean, everybody turns good, and it's like
yeah.
it's just predictable at this point where you're like, just don't do it. Like, let them all stay evil, because if we're gonna be on this show for the spoiler, we're like, well, there it is. We knew that was coming.
Right.
It's
I
not-
don't think it's going to come. Also, I want to double back because I think the temple that Ahsoka was in was a Jedi temple, and I
Okay.
think that was a Jedi.
You think
'Cause
so?
Remember, she's looking up. She's trying to find more information about the world between worlds.
Yeah.
So I think she's in a Jedi
You
temple.
think? Do you think she's gonna? You think they're gonna explore that?
Yes. Maybe-
That's gonna piss off so many people, and it's gonna make so many people happy, because if they do
Right,
World
right,
Between
right.
Worlds, they want it to. He's gonna lose it. He's gonna hate it. But like, if they do World Between Worlds, they could essentially retcon Last Jedi and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Which is what people were saying in the beginning. I remember when Last Jedi came out and the final 9 came out. They were like, "Well, in Rebels, remember, so we could change this all."
They could, but I don't.
I don't
and
think they will.
The
but
only
I
thing
think
that they
they'll
could
open
do
it
is
up.
almost do what DC and Marvel's doing,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's like Elseworld stuff. That all of this stuff that they're doing
Oh,
in the
for God's sakes, don't.
I know, but the Filoni Favreau verse could be its own thing, and
Right.
tell stories that way.
Come on.
Because the reason that they're not going to retcon it, you got Rey's movie coming out in 2025.
Yeah, I also think it's a. I don't think it would be. I think it's way too soon to do that too, and I don't think it's necessary.
I don't think it's necessary either, but it's going to be interesting how they play it. But
Yeah.
so you think it's the temple of her trying to figure out the world between worlds and all that?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Just to find more information about Ezra
Yeah.
and Thrawn.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So then, they're going after everybody here, and there's a lot. I mean, this is why I said the epic side of it, Steph. You brought it up too. This is what we talked about with Mando. Why we liked Mando so much, kind of going into season 3, was that this soup of Star Wars, the lightsaber battles, the lightsaber battles, the
whole fleet.
the space battles, like all this, the fleet, and then we get into Hera. Yeah,
That last picture, the girl, that's not an Imperial officer.
it's not.
No, I'll bet. What, the Mon Calamari freighters. That's remember when I said Admiral Akbar's look like his chair?
Let's go back. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not.
She's not. That's not Imperial. It's a rebel.
You think so?
Yep.
Oh,
I'll call it right now.
Hold on.
What are you doing, Jimmy Choo?
You would actually love
Yeah,
the character.
I think it's.
of
I think
Hera.
that's not an Imperial.
You
That's a
think
rebel.
that's-
They're aboard
I
a Calamari Star Cruiser. I'll bet.
I don't know, man.
Well, I'm just going off of what's in the trailer.
Well, look at that outfit.
I think maybe the lighting's coloring it a little differently for you.
You think that's a rebel outfit?
Well, we'll see in a month or two.
What's that? What's this here?
A person.
Just hanging out?
Yeah, it looks like he's wearing a ball cap too.
You're in a mood
Got
today.
long hair and ball cap.
Yeah, you're.
I don't know if I like it. So anyway, so we got the fleet,
Yeah.
and then we jump right into Hera, and this goes into now, Mike.
Yeah,
What
what about?
when you see Hera, and do you know just from us talking about her, like what was your first thoughts? Like as she pops onto the screen.
Well, I know the character from Rebels because I did
Yeah.
see season 1. It strikes me as weird. It's an interesting choice, the leather bomber jacket, because that is such an American thing. the leather with the fur collar. It's an American thing. So to see it in Star Wars, I'm kind of like, it's kind of weird.
She had it in the show.
I know it's her thing,
Yeah.
but it just it
I think
always
you-
signifies pilot.
I think-
You see that jacket, you're
Yeah.
like, that's a pilot.
I think you're looking for some shit too.
you asked me what I said.
I'm just telling you,
motherfucker.
today you're looking for it.
You asked me what I
I
said,
know,
and
I'm
I
just
said,
saying.
"Here's a girl wearing the Tom
Does it
Cruise
seem
leather
today
jacket.
he's looking
She's
for it?
Maverick over here."
Does it seem like he's looking for some shit?
A little bit.
Oh,
That
You
you're
see what I deal with,
reaching
and
a
I
little
can't
bit.
win in this show.
Right.
Perfect.
Shut your mouth.
She
Shut
looks
your
better
mouth.
in motion.
Yeah.
When I first saw pictures,
Yeah,
I was like,
you didn't
she
love it?
looks good, but
Okay.
I wasn't. I don't know. Hair. It's hard coming right off the heels
Yeah.
of the animated series when you look at it because Hera has she kind of looks like a Barbie. She's hot, right?
Well, it's so interesting though that they were not going to have. There's no mention of the kid yet. I'm sure. I'm sure we'll
right.
have it. But and then Chopper, you had to see Chopper. Like if this,
Yeah,
this kind of goes back to Mike's point where this is clearly for Rebels fans because
Right.
Mike to this.
I know Chopper.
You do okay. So
he might be the best droid.
He's pretty grouchy.
Steph-
He's you, Mike. He's you.
He
Chopper
really
is
might. You have no idea, but he does stuff no droid's willing to do.
Yeah, he is.
I hear that every time a droid pops up.
Okay.
BB-8, Dio,
No, BB-8
Chopper.
was cool, but BB-8
Everyone's like,
wasn't-
"This is the best droid ever. I'm in love."
But
my heart.
Have I said that?
Dio has my heart.
Yeah. Well, look.
Chopper has my heart.
Look at
You're-
this.
I'll die for Chopper.
I
Yeah.
can't wait for you to have a vacation.
Yeah, you need it. But then you get all these characters here
Shut your
who've been.
mouth, I love it.
We look now since Andor. Obviously, Mon Mothma has. We know she takes over at one point.
Right.
She's essentially the emperor, but not really. But she's the what is it, the supreme counselor, or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
No, whatever she is.
I don't know.
She's running the shop. So this is where Hera's like, okay, look. I fought in these wars before. I'm trying to avoid it. Help me out. And it does show you kind of like the politics of how the New Republic ultimately doomed itself again.
Right.
But she's like, help me out here. And then we get that great shot of Genevieve O'Reilly.
Yeah.
And then the reconnecting of Hera and Ahsoka. And this is where we go back to what we were just talking about, how this is the in-between, that ending scene of Rebels. And she's like, okay, look, you know who we're going to need here? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to deal with that kid again. And this shot, the funny thing is, if you go and you watch that scene, there is a shot. They're in Lothal, clearly here. But
Clearly.
they're in. Well, you don't watch it.
You're just on a team of your own.
Yeah.
A league of their own.
I think the audience is going to hate you today.
No, they're gonna love me. They're
I
gonna
don't know.
fucking love me.
I don't know. I think they're going to hate you
They're
today.
gonna love me.
I don't know, because I hate you today. Let's go back to it.
Clearly,
You want to
they're
talk
on
about
the- I mean, they're on the fall. Clearly,
you want to talk about your little DC universe in a second?
Well, no.
Nathan Fillion, you can go tweet about PJ about how much you can't stand his tweets lately. So leave me alone.
Him and Bibbs,
Wait,
the
I
two
want
of
to go
them.
see that.
Yeah.
Is there Twitter beef?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I
Okay.
need to be there.
But Sabine, she's got the long hair. We know that by the end of it, she chops off the dew because she doesn't have that when they meet up, and clearly we see that.
Right.
We get a nice haircut.
However,
yes. Go ahead.
you can't say that the long hair didn't look.
It looked good.
It looked so good. Okay, this is what I hope though. I hope that I know Sabine's hair is always short when we see her in Rebels, and I like that. But I liked when she had two colors at least. I want her to go back. This is like the nitpicky stuff of
Yeah.
stuff. I want her to have the white and then to the purple.
Yeah. I mean, she's what I don't remember, Steph, and I know that she gets the Darksaber, and Kanan
Yeah.
trains her in how to fight with it and all that. I don't ever remember her being force sensitive.
She wasn't.
She wasn't.
But there's a conversation Kanan has when she's training with the Darksaber, and Ezra asks something like, why can't she use the Force? And he says, because she's blocked and hasn't accepted her past. Something like that. So it kind of opens the door to she could be Force sensitive.
And that's
but
the last
hasn't-
season?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she hasn't accepted that.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch
I
the
don't
series.
know if they're going to give her Force sensitivity this
I mean, it
season.
seems she's calling Ahsoka master.
Totally.
And she's
but-
fighting with a saber.
Yeah, but she might have just trained her in the
Maybe
saber.
it's just a respect thing.
No.
Yes,
no.
master. Yes, master.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Yeah, maybe. No,
Yeah.
there's,
But,
there's
I think she might have to learn it this season.
maybe.
Yeah.
But so then we're leading up to that scene, and there seems to be a little bit of a rift between the two of them, and maybe they were. This had almost like a Blade Runner feel to it.
So
too.
great.
Yeah,
I love this shot.
It's got an anime feel to it,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
for sure.
But so she doesn't. So this is what I loved about this trailer was that the demons that Ahsoka's kind of going through, right? The fact that she never finished her training with Anakin, that still weighs on her. The mention of Anakin twice in this trailer, by the way, and then Hera basically saying to her, you know, like I'm sure it was a little difficult and to Anakin, and she's like, I never finished with Anakin the same way I never finished with Ahsoka. So she's kind of beating her, with Sabine. So she's beating herself up a little bit, and clearly there's a relationship that these two have. But then she approaches Sabine. Then we basically get this build up to that final prologue scene in Rebels.
Right.
Yeah, I mean they got to have a conversation to get on the same page. I think all of this happens within. I think this is the first 15 minutes of the show.
Yeah, because they have to be on the same team
Yeah.
throughout the season. But I think Ahsoka's character arc's going to be really cool.
I think so too. Yeah.
Filoni's talked about how she's like Gandalf, you know.
It's his baby. It's the only character that is like, you know, I mean, not the only one, but it's the one of the main characters that he created while George Lucas was in the room.
That everyone loves too.
Yeah, and that didn't when she first debuted.
Right.
But it's like now all these other characters kind of get created, but it wasn't. But George was sitting in the room like working with him, and yeah, so God, I like what she's doing. And there's a love between it and what he's done. And I remember when I asked him in the interview that I had with him,
With George Lucas?
No, with Filoni about Ahsoka. Lucasfilm, I think there's something in his contract or whatever too. He didn't necessarily say it like that, but the way that they can't do anything with Ahsoka without his permission.
That Lucas's?
Or Filoni's, the guy who created her.
But you just said he was in the room with Lucas, so I didn't know if it was part of that conversation.
Go ahead, sit in it. Just sit in it.
I'll sit that. Want me to look at myself for an hour? At myself.
That beep is incredible.
Shut your mouth. Steph, I'm not really digging you today. I usually do.
You ain't digging her? I'll tell you
but
who
I'm
ain't
not.
really digging. Hey, listen, man. You think just because you Mike Kalinowski, you come in, you smoldering eating pretzels, you dumb motherfucker. Hey, you sitting around there chewing like a dumbass, and oh, I don't like Rebels. I don't like it looking like that. Oh my God, hey Steph, look, there's not enough colors in it this time. I'm a dumbass mother. Look at me, stupid Mike Kalinowski killer. Yeah, right, killing my balls.
Thank you, Big Balls.
Yeah, you're right.
Appreciate it.
I
All
want
right.
to be on the same team again.
No, not today,
What?
Steph.
No,
Not
I
today,
wouldn't
Steph.
do it.
I
Don't,
feel
no,
like,
don't.
what
don't.
did I do
You
today?
see, don't. No, see this is what people like him do. Don't feel you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything.
I did.
You didn't do anything. This is him. He came in today because he didn't eat enough pretzels. He's wearing his little shorts,
Shorts.
black
Summer
socks, shorts.
Got to get the tan on.
So, all right, here we go. Let's get back to this.
All right, come on, let's get on track. We gotta go.
Let's get on track, says the guy who basically drove off the cliff like Tom Cruise. All right, and who's this little guy?
No idea.
No idea, right? I like this design of
Me
this
too.
little droid. So yeah, again, they're trying to pair it up, make sure that they can get on the same page, and then this is where you start to say, wait, I guess she has been trained as a Jedi. She's watching the stuff with Ezra. But I'll tell you, I think the same thing Mike said.
Yeah.
We ain't getting Ezra until the last episode,
Yeah.
maybe. It's clearly not about him. It's about Sabine and Ahsoka, yeah. And then she cuts her hair off.
That droid looked like the toy I used to have for R2-D2. I think it looks like it's based on the original design of R2 in the toy.
No, this is the scene. So this is the scene at the end of Rebels. She's wearing this outfit. She's got the short hair now. She's touching the mural, and then she's like, all right, it's time to leave. Now this is the stuff that this right here from this shot on seems to be where season. How many seasons of Rebels were there, Steph? Was it 4 or 5?
I think 4.
So 4. All right. So essentially, this is season. This right here is the beginning of season 5 of Rebels. This shot right here, because everything else was kind of the lead up to it. They take off, and then there's all these different battles with Ahsoka.
But she showed her cutting her hair, so
yeah.
The cutting the hair part is so great for a few reasons.
But she always had short hair in the Rebels show, though.
She did, but what happens basically is she does, and then from that time period, when the show ends before the little thing they show at the end, it's like right before the Death Star and all that stuff. Is before Episode 4. Then they go through and everything happens from Jedi on. And so in that time period is the long hair and all that stuff. And then after Jedi and it's all done, that's when she cuts the hair off, the mission begins, and then it's probably around the same time as Mandalorian.
I'm confused.
You won't be.
Yeah.
Confused.
You won't be.
But that scene was there's a mirror shot scene where with Kanan when he cuts his hair.
Oh, okay.
He cuts his hair too?
Yeah,
he does.
it's this
Yeah.
one of the final scenes with him, and so it mirrors that. Also gave me major Mulan vibes before she goes to war.
Oh, yeah,
to
for
bring
sure.
honor
Oh,
to
yeah.
the family.
So there's, and then these battles that are going on, it's like, yeah, Ahsoka's like, we're going to see some major battles with Ahsoka. And then this was the shot, though, by the way, that I'm going to show you guys before you leave, but it's like, it is shot for shot. It's the same thing in that little, she touches his face and then she leaves. And then there's going to be a lot of other space battles that are happening. I didn't realize, did Sabine fly? I think she did. I don't.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
I need to watch the show
Yeah,
again.
she did. She was great.
Yeah, I believe it. I can't
She did
remember.
a lot of her own missions.
Okay, space whale. There's a space whale.
Yes.
We finally get another space whale. They teased it in Mandalorian season 3, but you saw it for like a split second. But the space whales clearly are coming because
Gosh, I want one.
you want a space whale.
Hell yeah.
Okay. And then again, more conversations throughout the whole thing. I'm going to be in the ship for. Wait, is that space whale too? It is, right? Something wherever they're
What
going.
the hell is with the space whales? Why does everyone lose their mind for those things?
Well, whales are my favorite animal.
I didn't. No,
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't.
No, you
yeah. So that's part of it. But they're in Rebels. Hate to say it.
Yeah.
But they can travel at the
Light speed.
Light speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can. Yeah.
The whales.
Oh,
can.
okay.
Then
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just letting it all in. All the Star Wars stuff that I thought was pretty up to date with, and I have no idea. Okay. Space whales that travel at light speed. They just fly in the air? They just are they normally in water and they come out of the water and then go into light speed in the air? Where are they space whales and they're just floating in space and they decide to go into light speed and they can go into light speed? I'm just curious. Are they in water? How do you get to ride them? How do you get with them? Where are they? Are they just floating in the sky? Can someone explain this to me? The space whales.
Go to Disney Plus and you turn on Rebels.
So there's just space whales. Did they go like, Dune's got sandworms, we need space whales?
Oh my gosh, this might be my favorite monologue of yours.
I'm just curious. Guys, I could talk for hours. So
Oh, we know.
if we're
We
going to
know.
go on to this, I'll keep going.
All right, so
that
there's
was
Thrawn.
so
We finally get a shot.
He looks
at Thrawn.
fucking great. I'm
He
sorry.
looks- okay, he
I'll
looks
drop the
great,
F-bomb
right?
there. Yeah, looks great.
He looks great.
He looks fantastic. Where's this little yellow thing, though? He's got to have a little yellow worm.
right.
I will say that this is a great. I love that the fact that they got him, the actor who did his voice. We got Mickelson coming in, and I think that he's gonna really get the character. The question is, how is he gonna show up? When's he gonna show up? And then, we jump to this scene. She's gonna get her ass kicked, Sabine, from this girl. This was like the horror scene that I was talking about.
this
Scene with
girl's
some red-
gnarly.
She got the crazy eyes.
She does.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
got the crazy eyes.
And there's this, and this is. I actually think this is out of sequence. I think that this happens first, and then I think that happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Looks like a girl I dated in college.
I buy it.
I think you might have known her.
I probably did.
Oh,
And then we get this because I love this moment here where he's just like, oh, Anakin spoke very highly of you, and she's like, and I think it fits. And she's like, I'm not here to talk about my past. I'm here to take you out, because I love how calm Ahsoka is through all of this. It doesn't seem like there's this guy's screaming and hooting and hollering, and she's just and she's just she's ready to go. And my favorite shot of the whole thing, though,
badass.
she really is. She's running through the place. This would give me Captain America vibes. This portion right here, but then
Oh yeah.
when she's that was the shot that I said that looks very volumey.
Yes.
Yeah. But this guy's in Rebels, isn't he?
I
Thought he
can't
was.
tell
I
if
can't
he
remember.
is the protocol droid they took from the Empire.
Right.
But he has a different look.
So
I might forget. I just got to season 4 on my rewatch. So
All right. So then again, Sabine. Yeah. This is the same thing. I think that all of this happens before the lightsaber fight happens, and then the evil one comes out and fights her. But this is the battle here as she's just kind of wrecking shop, and then there's an Inquisitor or somebody kind of comes out of the woodwork. And it looks like, that's an Inquisitor's blade that comes down. Oh, this is Hera just firing off shots, but a lot of running. This one, this is, who's this?
yeah.
It's an Inquisitor, right?
Yeah, there's
That's Reva, probably.
speculation. Well, that'd be hilarious. There's speculation that There's an episode of Rebels on Malachor, which a lot of Rebels fans want them to kind of answer because there's a duel between Darth Vader and Ahsoka, and we're presumed that Ahsoka's dead for a while.
Yeah, but but we find out what happened.
Yeah, I know, but they want to kind of see the after, watch. But I don't think that will happen. But remember in that scene, there's also one of the Inquisitors takes a huge fall, and they think it's him.
Okay.
I don't know though.
Maybe. So either way, this is my favorite because this guy's doing his little fancy tricks.
Right.
Who's texting you, Mike? What you got?
And she's doing a tricep
Work
curl.
stuff.
So this is my favorite. He's flipping his saber around like, oh, look at me, look at my tricks, and she's like, all right, come on, dummy.
Right.
Look at my tricks.
Yeah, but I love this. Like she could not be phased. She's not phased at all.
She's been meditating.
And then this reminded me. This had a lot of the kind of Kylo Ren Rey fight vibes in the forest. Ahsoka does her best fighting in the forest, by the way.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, and
that's
then
where she first almost fought Din.
Yeah, and then it ends. So again, I thought there's a lot of epic stuff going on here.
That lightsaber looked orange.
Okay.
Didn't look red.
I don't disagree with you.
It looked red. So I think maybe this new technology they're using is just effing the red colors up and the oranges.
Think that looks red?
It does, but it looks very similar to the orange ones.
It does.
It doesn't look like a red blade that we've seen in the past. It looks like the tech that they're using now to do these on set is not as good as.
I think I agree with you when it comes to the beginning. No, but I disagree with you now because I think that looks pretty red, and I think you need to get your eyes checked.
Maybe it's just this monitor because over there, it looks red.
Right.
I'm just looking at.
Oh yeah, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take that back.
Okay, there you go. Look,
because you're looking at that one, dickhead.
Whose fault is that I was looking at?
That's over there. This is my monitor. Here we go. That's how I'm going to talk the whole time. Morse code from now on.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the comments say about you today.
I think it's gonna be half like hell yeah, Mike. I
got my followers. I got my lovers. I got my haters. That's life.
Your girlfriend and your dogs.
That's right.
That's about it.
They hate me and they love me.
Well, I'm going to cover this real quick, and then we're going to move on.
All right. What do you got to cover?
We're going to end it.
Let's end it.
Tell me what happened here, Mike.
I'm getting out of here.
You're very excited. Go ahead and tell me what happened.
James Gunn announced casting.
Yes.
He's building the cast for Superman Legacy. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, one of the Green Lanterns. Isabella Merced, who I believe was Dora the Explorer.
Okay.
Hawkgirl. And Edie, I think his name is Gathegi.
He was an X-Men first
time.
time.
He was.
Twilight,
Got screwed.
right?
The only X-Men that can't die, and they killed him off.
I loved him in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, he was
as Mr.
also in
Terrific.
Twilight, guys.
Well, I don't know about
Have
that.
some respect.
Sorry, don't know that.
All right, so here's my I like this casting. I
love the casting.
My only issue with it, Mike, is
I
that
saw lots of issues.
I'm a Superman guy. I want to see a movie about Superman.
Let me tell you, can I get into this?
That's why I asked you. Yeah,
We're going to soapbox here. Because
go ahead.
my first
Okay, I'm
reaction
totally
yesterday
on
is
your side right now.
my
Just know
first
that.
reaction yesterday was everybody just, there's so many people in this cast. I want a Superman movie, and there's so many people in it. And I go, my first reaction was going to go at them like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
I hope no kids are listening to that.
I hope not. But I said, you know what?
Today's
Let's
rated
calm
R.
down and let's take a look at this. And my first reaction was like, the people are saying stuff like this clearly don't read comic books. Because when I first read a Superman comic book, I didn't read Action Comics, the first appearance, and it was just Superman. I came into it in the middle of his run, and it was other superheroes were in it. Superheroes are, James Gunn has said superheroes exist in this world. We're not going to go and see Hawkman's origin, or Hawkgirl's movie by herself, Guy Gardner's movie by himself, Mr. Terrific's movie, and then 5 years from now, we're going to see them in a Superman movie. They're out there in the world. They're his supporting cast. So I say this. A couple years ago, DC Animated rebooted their universe, and they created what's called the Tomorrowverse. And they started these new movies with Superman, Man of Tomorrow. And in this world, Batman has his rogues gallery. He's in his 30s. But Superman, in his movie, comes to Metropolis, gets a job at the Daily Planet, meets Lois Lane, meets Jimmy Olsen, meets Perry White, has Lobo as a bad guy, has Parasite as a bad guy, Lex Luthor's introduced, who he teams up with, and Martian Manhunter is in that movie. That's 7 characters. It's a fantastic Superman story told in 77 minutes.
Right.
This guy's going to have 2.5 hours to tell a Superman story. And James Gunn, being James Gunn, came out and go, guys, it's the cast. It is a Superman and Lois story.
He responded to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And already people are like, they were upset at Snyder because he put Batman and Wonder Woman in Superman's second movie, but James Gunn gets a pass? And then I see people like, just what the fans wanted, a 50-year-old Green Lantern. Nowhere in Guy Gardner's history has his age ever been announced. It doesn't matter that he's 50.
I wanted you as Green Lantern.
I'm Hal Jordan.
Oh, I
I'll
wanted
say
you
this.
as Hal Jordan.
I'm saying that's because who my personality is. I'm not Guy Gardner.
Oh, okay.
I'm not Guy Gardner.
Have you ever thought about being a lawyer?
Now?
No,
I'd be a
I don't
phenomenal
know.
lawyer.
You'd be
I'd be a
phenomenal.
phenomenal lawyer.
So would Roxy.
I can argue
if she
very
read
well.
more.
I'm just saying.
He'd be in contempt every.
I'm just saying.
every
James
thing.
Gunn, like
Right, he would be. He
He'd be
would
in
piss off
contempt.
the judges,
Yeah.
but he'd be very good at it.
Yeah.
like James Gunn, like he took the Guardians of the Galaxy and made them household names.
Right.
Like, let him tell the story,
Well,
man. Let this guy tell the
That's
story.
ultimately
Yeah, I
where
agree.
that's where I went with it. I said his strengths, his two biggest strengths actually are casting and music. Those are his two biggest strengths.
So good at
but
it.
The last few things that he's done have been my favorite things that he's done. I
Yeah.
loved Guardians 3. I love the Suicide Squad,
Hell
and
yeah.
I love Peacemaker.
Hell
I
yeah.
agree 100%.
So and
So
I
good.
love the casting of Superman. I'm not doing the stamp of the fist going, well, this is
I know what you're saying. I do know. What
I'm
you're
just
saying.
like, it's a concern,
Right.
It's
I
like,
get it.
Yeah, it's like, well, what are we focusing on Superman and Lois? Or are we focusing on and what he does do? And this is not. It's still talented people, but he casts his friends. He does that all the time.
I'm
And
with you on
him,
that.
him and
It's-
Nathan Fillion are buddies.
They go way back,
They
yeah.
go way back. He's like, hey, I want to be in DC. All right, I'll put you. Want to be Green Lantern? Sure.
Yeah.
I know you're talented.
Yeah.
And people
He was
like
in
you.
the Suicide
So-
Squad.
And he voiced Hal Jordan, and it's I do see
Detachable
this.
man, so good.
He
Yeah.
was in Suicide
Or
Squad
kid.
as a character, and that character's still alive. So it's like, I've said this till I'm blue in the face. I'm a Snyder fan. I love what they did, but that universe has to stop.
Yeah.
And you can't. I said this after the failure of The Flash, which I loved. You can't have Margot Robbie popping up.
Nope.
You can't have Viola Davis. You can't have your wife
I know.
as,
You gotta cancel
as your
Peacemaker.
characters.
You got to cancel it. I hate saying it. But
You
gotta
do,
cancel
or
it.
you just go, it's where the Flash universe is in this separate world.
Right.
This is our own world.
Right.
John Cena will never meet Corn Sweat
Right,
as Superman.
right.
They will never see each other. You cannot, because the audience knows. Seeing the failure of the Flash, the audience knows these characters exist in this
I know.
world.
Yeah.
And having them pop up, and that's why I've said this till I'm blue in the face. I go, Aquaman, you just release it, take the loss on it. Blue Beetle, you postponed till after Legacy. And he's sitting there going, he's like, that's our first DCU character. Not the movie, the character is their first. So I'm like,
What is
audiences
it?
are,
They're too
you
confused.
can't,
Yeah,
you've
it's-
got
yeah,
to
yeah,
stop.
I'm with you. I'm with
Margot
you.
Robbie, out.
Well, the
Like,
reason
you
that, but
can't
to be fair to
do
them
it.
too,
And I love those
this will be-
characters.
This will be the last thing, but to be fair to them, they have these movies, The Flash, they have Aquaman, they have these things that they can't say, hey, none of it matters anymore. Don't worry about it. Just go see it. Spend your money, go see it in the theater. But it doesn't count anymore. They have to go like, oh, the door's open.
Right.
The door's
I know.
not open.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us here today. I want to thank both Steph and Mike for being here. Well, I want to thank Steph for being here today.
Fuck!
I appreciate it. Make sure you leave your comments below. Check us out on Apple. Check us out on Spotify. And I'm not joking. I'm gonna test you, Steph. I'm gonna test you next week on Rocket Money. I'm
Okay.
telling you, this is the one. This is the one that, and Mike definitely needs it, but I think you need it as well too. Rocketmoney.com/thing. Tell me you signed up for it during the show.
I was saying I love this idea.
Okay.
And I think we're talking sponsors and stuff. We need to find one for me, like anti-anxiety, like a calming. Let's get that.
Anger.
For
There we go.
sure.
Anger management.
Anger management. All right. Thank you guys for joining us today. Appreciate it. From Mike and Steph. We'll see you on the flip side. I'm sorry.
I hate you.
That was an all-timer.